trying to be motivated. That word has lied to you for years. You wake up, scroll, wait for a spark. You tell yourself, once I feel ready, I'll start. But ready never comes. It's a story your brain tells to keep you safe. You're not lazy. You're trapped in a quiet negotiation with your own weakness. Every morning you make a deal. Just 5 more minutes. 1 more video. I'll start after this, and every morning. That deal costs you another day. Motivation is the soft whisper that says wait. Discipline is the command that says move. One delays, the other defines. Now listen carefully. You don't need to feel something new. You need to obey one order. 5 minutes. No debate. Set the timer. Pick one task. Start when it hits 0. No music. No dopamine. No warm-up. Just you, a clock, and a decision. This isn't about feeling strong. It's about proving that you are. Because action is louder than thought and cleaner than emotion. You think you need motivation to move, but movement is the cure. The motion itself resets the system. The first 5 minutes are war. The mind fights back. It screams for comfort, distraction, escape. That's the sound of weakness leaving your routine. So breathe, anchor yourself in silence, then execute. If you've been waiting to feel ready, you're already late. The moment you hit play, the clock started. 5 minutes to stop being controlled by feelings. This is your order. Follow it or stay exactly where you are. No hype, no noise, only execution. And here's the truth no one told you. When you obey the 5-minute order, something rewires, the fog lifts. The body takes command, but what really happens inside those 5 minutes? That's what separates the men who rebuild from the men who rot. If that hits you, don't pause. Comment yes if this loop sounds like yours. Because the next part will explain why motivation has been your enemy all along. And once you understand that, you'll never chase it again. You've been told to wait for inspiration, to find your why, to search for the right playlist, the perfect quote, the spark that flips the switch. But that's the trap. That's how weakness hides. Motivation is the mirage that keeps you thirsty, always chasing, never drinking. It rewards you before you move. It tricks you into mistaking intention for execution. You'll open the app, watch someone else's discipline, and call it progress. Your brain gets the same hit of satisfaction without any proof of work. That's why you scroll at 6:10 a.m. with your gym bag ready, shoes by the door, mind already making excuses. You're not waiting for energy, you're waiting for permission. And every time you do, the world moves without you. Motivation is emotional weather, sunny, cloudy, unstable. Structure is the map that gets you home no matter what the sky looks like. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Structure answers, irrelevant. Proceed. Here's the truth you never learned. Discipline isn't about intensity, it's about architecture. A system that removes negotiation before emotion even enters the room. Imagine your morning is a battlefield. Every decision, wake or snooze, scroll or move, think or act is a bullet spent. Structure eliminates that battle. It gives you the rule, not the choice. That's why you feel exhausted before you start. You burn all your willpower deciding instead of doing. But once the structure's in place, everything quiets. No more arguments in your head. No more waiting for motivation to knock. Only command and compliance. That's freedom. Chaos disguised as spontaneity, not emotional fireworks that fade after the first win. Real freedom is structure because it ends the debate. When you live by structure, you don't ask the mind for permission. You give it orders and it obeys. The man who waits to feel ready is a slave to mood. The man who moves on order is free. Now the question is, what's the order? What system replaces this chaos of feelings? It's something simple enough to start today and strong enough to rebuild your control from the ground up. You'll learn it next. But understand this first. You can't outthink procrastination. You can only outstructure it. And the structure starts with one command, the 5-minute order. But before you hear it, take one breath. Because once you do, there's no going back to comfort. Here's the system, the one that ends the negotiation permanently. It's called the 5-minute order, and it's not theory. It's the loop that rebuilds men when motivation fails. 3 parts. No fluff, no exceptions. Plan, execute, review. That's the loop, that's the structure. Let's break it down. Plan 60 seconds of clarity. Write one task, not a list. One, define the first motion you can take. No abstractions, no perfection. Write one line, do one set, read one page, then set the timer for 5 minutes. That's your window. That's your battlefield. Execute 5 minutes of obedience. When the timer starts, you move. No debate, no tabs. No tabs, no phone shuffle. No dopamine hit before proof of work. You act with full attention for the entire 5. That's all. Not 50. Not until burnout. Just 5. Because 5 minutes of execution crush a lifetime of hesitation. In those 5 minutes, you're not chasing emotion. You're building proof. You're reprogramming what your brain associates with movement. Every rep, every line, every click becomes evidence. I move first. I feel later. The mind learns fast when the body leads. And that's the secret discipline never told you. Control starts physical. Then comes review, 30 seconds of truth. Mark it done or partial. Write one line. What worked, what didn't. Then reset the timer. Repeat if you can. Stop if you must. But never skip the review. Because review is reflection without emotion. The mirror that builds precision. You don't build control through hype. You build it through feedback. Each loop sharpens the system until it becomes automatic. And when that happens, motivation becomes irrelevant. This is not a challenge. It's a command sequence. Plan, execute, review, that's it. No overthinking, no feelings to negotiate. Just a loop that trains obedience until obedience becomes identity. Every man who rebuilt himself did it through structure, not spark. And this loop, 5 minutes at a time, is how it starts. Pause for a second. Imagine what your life would look like if you ran this loop every morning. One page, one task, 5 minutes. What would that prove? It would prove that motivation was never the issue. Discipline was just untrained. And this is your training ground. If this clicked, subscribe. We build discipline here, not hype. Because next, you'll see what this order looks like in real life. How it turns hesitation into movement, thought into action, chaos into control. And once you witness that, you'll never be able to unsee it. You've heard the system. Now it's time to run it. Not tomorrow, not after one more video. Now, because discipline doesn't begin in your head, it begins in motion. Picture this, it's early, still dark. The air is heavy with silence. You stand barefoot on the cold floor. There's no music, no camera, no hype, just breath, just you and the order, plan. You open a notebook, one line, write for 5 minutes, timer set, 5 o'clock. Your hand hovers above the start button. That's the hesitation, the ghost of the old loop. Ignore it, execute. The clock starts ticking. You move. One word, then another. No rhythm at first, just friction. The mind still whispers, this won't matter. But you keep going, and at some point, maybe 2 minutes in, something shifts. The noise quiets, the breath steadies. The room feels different. That structure taking control. That's proof forming inside you. 5 minutes pass. Timer rings. You stop. You exhale. Review. You write one line under your task. Completed next round. Increase focus. That's it. No celebration, no reward. Just confirmation. Control was built, not borrowed. Now imagine the second scene. Same loop, different battlefield. It's midday. The desk is cluttered, mind scattered, phone buzzing. You feel the weight of half-finished tasks, messages, tabs. You could drift or deploy the order again. Plan, open a blank note, write 3 bullets. Pick the hardest one, set timer, 5 o'clock, no negotiation, execute. The noise fades behind the ticking clock. You type, work, correct, small movement but complete focus. Your mind starts to remember. This is what control feels like. By the time the alarm sounds, the room feels lighter. 5 minutes created momentum that emotion never could. And here's the truth. If you can control 5 minutes, you can control a day. And when you can control a day, you can rebuild a life. Discipline scales through structure. You don't grow by adding hours, you grow by removing hesitation. So do it today. Start with one loop. Morning or night, doesn't matter. 5 minutes of non-negotiable execution. Don't overthink it, don't announce it, just obey it. Pause this video if you need to and run your first loop right now. Then comment below what you did. Not for validation, for accountability. Because that's how men rebuild, through proof. Remember this, motivation waits for conditions. Structure creates them. The clock is still ticking, and every second you hesitate is another rep of weakness. So set the timer, plan, execute, review. Do it today, because the next part will change what you believe about who you are. You'll see why the 5-minute order isn't just a system, it's an identity. You've done the first loop. Maybe just in your head. Maybe you actually set the timer. Doesn't matter. You cross the line between thinking and acting, and that changes everything. Now you understand something most people never will. Discipline isn't about pushing harder. It's about removing choice. You've stopped asking how you feel. You've started telling yourself what to do. And that's freedom. That's peace under pressure. The noise in your head will try to return. It always does. It'll whisper, just skip it once. You've earned a break, but you'll recognize the voice now. It's weakness in disguise. It sounds polite, but it's the same enemy as before. The difference is, this time, you have a system, a weapon, a loop that cuts through hesitation every time it appears. You've learned to move without needing permission, to execute without waiting for emotion, to prove through repetition that control is a skill, not a mood. And that's who you are now. not someone chasing motivation, someone who builds structure, someone who commands obedience from the inside out. Look at your hands. They've already done what your mind said it couldn't. That's proof. That's identity forming. Every 5-minute loop is a brick in that identity. Each one says, I follow orders. I trust the system. I run the loop. It's not about perfection. You'll fail. You'll skip. You'll forget. But when that happens, you won't collapse. You'll reset. Because structure doesn't punish. It reintegrates. That's the beauty of it. You can always restart the clock anytime, anywhere. 5 minutes. Plan. Execute, review. That's all it takes to come back. You've stopped chasing motivation. You've started commanding movement. You've become the system itself. So take one last breath. Let it settle. 'Cause from this point forward, you don't wait for clarity. You create it. You don't hope for change. You run it. If this message hit you, subscribe. Comment your commitment below. The one habit you'll execute tomorrow. Then set the timer and do it. Because this isn't about hype or inspiration. It's about transformation through repetition. And when the noise comes back, and it will remember the order. 5 minutes, one task, no negotiation. We don't wait for motivation. We build the system. We prove the work. We live the loop.